Hey guys, Dragon Ball Super Cube Guy here, and today we're going to be talking about the useful cards out of Galactic Battle. These cards will be used for a cube that could either be a singleton cube and you're looking for older cards to put in, theme cubes, or block cubes that you would be using these older cards with. Now, some of these cards can still fit into cubes if you're using only the best cards available in the game, but you'll notice that the majority of them can't really keep up with the newest power in the newest sets. And I'll go ahead and go over each and every one of them and why I picked them. Vados' Assistance, it's a counterattack. There's not very many of those in this early stage of the game, so you're going to want to put that in just so that way you can stop some attacks. Then you got the Sankaba. He's a card that still sees use today in competitive decks. He's just a Self-Awakener that has double strike, 15k, pretty good turn 1. So you're going to want to put him in the cube. Ironwall Magetta, he's not good by today's standards, but if you are doing older cards, it's really nice that he can't be KO'd in battle because there's not a lot of spot removal in these earlier sets. So he's a really good, yeah, he does cost 3 and he's 15k power, but again, in this early sets, that's perfectly fine. Next we got Confident Batamo. He's really good because he is a form of spot removal if they have cards that they're not attacking with to maybe hold off to use their activate mains or blockers or whatever. He's good because he can attack them in battle mode or in active mode. Furthering Destruction Champa, another card that still sees use today. It's just great is as a finisher. You just swing with something, combo everything, combo him, make him double strike, and closes out the game. Terra Frost, or Terra Assault Frost, he's really good because in the early game, if they're sitting back and just blocking you or you're not attacking or whatever, and you get to that 4 energy mark, you just swing, kill a battle card, and then if they're not awakened, well, now they get burned. And it'll force them to awaken too if they're sitting on 4 life and want to awaken on their turn, depending on what leaders you're using for the cube. Bewitching God Vados, she's nice. At 5 energy, she's pretty expensive, but she's a nice finisher if you have a bunch of aliens in your cube, and a lot more aliens come in later on with the Tournament of Power and the draft boxes and everything. So every time she attacks, you'll get the top 3, and if you have a bunch of aliens in your deck that you drafted from the cube, well, then that's just more bodies on the board to swing with, and she gets to do that twice a turn. And she's 20k, so it's pretty big body as well. Next, we got that Destructive Terra Champa that I was talking about in my other video. Really good, wipes a board, triple strike. He's a really good finisher potential. Then we got the Whis' Coercion, same thing with Vados' Assistance. It's a counter attack. It's not very common in these earlier sets. Encouraging Presence Manaka. It didn't see much play back then, except maybe later on in the formats when people were using it with Vegeta, because it's a draw 1, give your leader double strike for 1 energy. It's basically a Champa that refreshes itself, but the only problem is you need to use it during your main. You can't just surprise them with it in the combo step. Sensu Bean, same thing. It still sees competitive play today. It's very good. It gives them plus 5,000 power for the turn, so it's good on defense, and it brings 2 energy back up. Energy boosted Majin Buu. When the game first started, there was only these play a card, draw a card. There was not all this insane value that cards got like they have now. So this is just really good if you're running a singleton cube and you're trying to fill in your 1 spot slots, or if you're using older cards. This is one of the main ways you're going to be drawing, outside of being awakened, that is. Kansai and Son Goku. If you're playing with the Vegito leader, he is, in my opinion, the best Goku. Because with the Vegito leader, all your Gokus are blue. And if all your Gokus are blue, he can get any of them. And it looks at the top 7 instead of top 3 or top 5 like we get now. So that's really strong. But in this format, like without Vegito, you don't have to add him. But if you guys are running the Vegito leader in your leader pools, he's a nice include for that guy. It gives incentivizes using Vegito. Objection, it's banned. It's always good to ramp cards, so that's that. It's just it takes cards out of your hand. It's a -2, but it depends on you if you want to ramp. Ultimate Judgment Jocko, he's really good. You combo with him and you bounce a card back up to their hand. Obviously, he's for defense step, but it's really nice to bounce up other cards that they paid energy for. So, like if they comboed with a 110k that's not Champa, well, then you just bounce that back up, and then he becomes a 15k because he minus them 10 and plus to you 5. Silent Vegeta, this is back in the time when a 3-drop 15k critical was really good. So this is just really good pressure. And until you get later on in the series or in the game, the 3-drop critical is kind of a big deal and it's pretty nice. But obviously, he's a little power crept by today's standards. Energy Boost Beerus, you play him on turn 5 and you get to pop a card. So this is one of the few instances of spot removal. So in an earlier cube, he'd be really good because that's one of the ways you can help control the board and do your tempo swings. And he's a 20k double strike. Now this Vegeta, he's the same as the Beerus where you play him on turn 5. You can evolve him for 4, but he's just 20k double strike, but when you play him with 5 or more energy, you get to draw 2 cards. So in the cube where you're not drawing as many cards as you would in standard, drawing cards is big. So this is nice, but again, you'll take him out if you're putting in later cards as well. Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku, this one's for a starter rare. He is really good if you're running a bunch of Goku cards in your cube or a Goku themed cube. Just slap him on top of one, and he's double strike, dual attack 20k for 4. So that's pretty strong. Beerus, General of Destruction. It's really nice since it's a slower format. You're going to be able to play him more. And if you see him and you help whittle down their hand, play this monster, swing. They don't have a hand, they lose everything. Then it's 25k triple strike. So that's really nice, and it's also discard 2 when they attacks anyways. So it's basically a 35 to 55k depending on if you rip super combos from the hand or not. Now we got full power energy. Once again, this is a counter attack, but this has an added bonus of KOing a card. King Vegeta surprise attack. Since there's not much spot removal in these early sets, they're going to be attacking into your battle cards in order to kill them. So if you have 1 green open, just plop this down, and now it has revenge, and it's going to kill whatever attacked it. So that's really nice for spot removal once again. Same thing as the Son Goku. If you have a bunch of Brolys in your cube, this is a good Broly to have because it looks at top 7 for a Broly and adds to hand. Now this will not add the Broly BRs, just the original Broly. Next up, we have Energy Power Gotenks, one of my favorite cards from this set. When he attacks a leader, they pitch a card. So either they're going to have to take a life and keep their hand size the same, or I just made them lose a life and they're going to combo out of it. And then I just take even more cards out of the hand. He's really good at starving resources. And I think he's still good today, but he would need to be like maybe a 2 cost to be really good and see play today. But he's a very fine addition. Furious Yell Vegeta, he's in here because, well, at 4, he does help you self-awaken with his once per turn, or with his main, activate main. So you just drop him, crit yourself, and pop a card. So good spot removal, and it's kind of expensive, but it's a 20k double striker as well. Super Saiyan Gotenks is another brilliant card from this set, one of my favorites. Is when you play him, you untap 2 and then you draw a card. So it's really a 3 cost. And if you evolve him, he's a 2 cost. So it's really good. I used him in Constructed with the Soul Striker Goku because I would evolve him on top of the Gotenks, the 3-drop Gotenks, and untap 2 and then swing with my leader and untap 2 more. To where he was basically a 1 cost double strike draw card. Freaking insane. Really good in cube because it does give you that card advantage and helps you keep going with your attacks because there's really not much energy manipulation either in this set. I think it's him and Whis' Coercion and Sensu Bean, and that's about it. So that's really good if you want energy manipulation. Mm. Now, if you are playing the Broly cards, obviously this would be good for the Broly line finisher, and you don't even need to evolve him, so he could be, if you're just drafting green, draft him, play him on 6, he's double strike, and you get to rip 2 cards from their hand. Pretty strong, especially in this format where people don't draw very many cards. Awaken Rage Son Goku. Right now, there's not very many Krillins to be had, so you're not going to get his triple strike permanent, but he's a card that when you play him, you get to kill up to 6 energy worth of battle cards on their side, and it's 25k double strike. It's another good finisher, because in this cube format, the finishers are around 5 to 7 energy. They don't really kill you on turn 3, turn 2, like the fastest decks out there now. So it's a lot easier, and you can take your time and actually play these powerful cards that you would never play nowadays. You got Crusher Ball. Yellow is kind of the weakest in these first couple sets. So while it's the weakest, it also has some of the strongest cards, like Crusher Ball. They're playing their finishing piece. You have one yellow open, you have this. Boom, it's played in rest mode. Now they just tapped out for nothing if they were going for game. But it's just one of my favorite yellow cards, and I play it nowadays in some of my decks just because I like being able to say no to people. Like if they were going for Victory Strike, just Crusher Ball. Um, so it's even stronger in Cube because depending on the format you're playing, if you're playing Singleton, you can Crusher Ball their big combo piece and then kill it, and now they're kind of screwed for their next turn. Battering Laser. The the way I see it is if banned cards are banned, that means they're really strong. So put them in the queue. This is really good if you're going for game and they go counterattack, you just Battering Laser. And if you have the one copy of it, well, I guess it's kind of cheap, but you got it. Cold Bloodlust, if you are playing with a set leader, you don't have to include this in your cube because it needs a Frieza's army. But if you're playing with a pool and you would get a Frieza's army leader, well, then you would want Cold Bloodlust as well because it's a really good, just a blanket card. Then we got Zarbon. He's really good if you have some blockers in your cube and you block with them and you can combo out to keep them alive, and then you can combo him to restand them and block another time. So you get 2 blocks out of your blocker with him. Or you could use him to protect battle cards that you don't want to die, like your big guys that they're going to be swinging over. You just combo out of it and then combo him to put him back in active mode to keep him safe. Mecha Frieza. This one is really good because you discard a card when you play him, and you kill 2 things on the board in rest mode. So it's really, really potent board control. And when you play him, you get dual attack, double strike. I mean, he's only 15k, but that's still a potential 4 damage if you have enough combo pieces in your hand to combo with. Then Full Power Frieza. This is yellow's 6-drop finisher. It's alright. I mean, I would play him because he's a really good triple strike finisher. And if you have the Emperor Frieza uncommon leader from this set, well, you can attack with him and then restand him at the end of your turn, and then you have a pretty much infinite blocker as long as you can keep him alive as well. So he's decent, but as you can see, there isn't really much in yellow. There's a lot of green and blue support, and red doesn't even have that much. But yeah, with these earlier sets, a lot of these cards don't hold up, and they're also pretty lackluster by today's standards as well.